What are we building? We're creating an AI assistant for property management. Basically, it'll sit on your Facebook page and automatically answer messages from potential tenants. Because sure, you could hire a VA, which is a virtual assistant, but good luck. Mine's been in and out of the house for more than a soap opera character, and the laptop apparently catches fire once a week. So today, we're finally upgrading and building something way more efficient AI setup. First, I'm coding on a MacBook, but you should be able to find relatively similar tools on other operating systems like Windows. I'll brief you on some concepts I'll be mentioning throughout this tutorial. So let's get into it. First, we're going to use something called LangChain. LangChain is an open source framework, powerful application using large language models like OpenAI's GPT, especially in combination with external data sources and tools. So instead of building out Python application from scratch with low-level components, we are going to use LangChain, which will guide us and make it a lot easier. Next concept I'll cover is something called RAG, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. It's a powerful technique that combines retrieval-based methods with generative language models like GPT, allowing systems to generate more accurate and informed responses by referencing external logic. How does it work? First step is it retrieves. Given a user query, a retriever, like a vector search engine using embeddings, finds the most relevant documents from a knowledge base or corpus. Secondly, it augments. These retrieved documents are appended to or used to condition the input to the language model. And lastly, it generates. The generative model like GPT-4 takes the original query plus the retrieved context and generates a final grounded response. Let's get coding. The first thing we'll need to do is we'll need to create a file called .env. Second thing we need to do is we will need to have a requirements.txt file where you'll be installing all the dependencies. I already have all the dependencies I know I'll need, and you'll find the source somewhere below this video at some point. So I'm not going to show you how I install packages in this video because I don't think it teaches you anything. But you have the requirements.txt file that you can install things from using this command pip install -r requirements.txt. That's what I did offline. You just didn't see me doing it. So we have the .env file, we have requirements.txt, and we've installed all our dependencies. First things we'll do is we will load our .env file. So from .env, you just import load. There's a typo. Load.env. So after doing this, the OpenAI API key, which you should populate it here somehow, will be loaded into our application at runtime. The next thing we'll do is we'll set up an embedding node. So OpenAI embeddings can be imported from LangChain OpenAI. There you go. And we just need to supply the model name. Next thing we'll do is we'll create a vector store. And for the purposes of our tutorial, we're not going to do anything fancy. We're just going to use an in-memory vector store. Not necessarily production ready, but you know, depends on your application and what production means. So I think it's in LangChain core. Yeah, vector stores, and yeah, in-memory vector store. It needs embeddings as a parameter, and we'll just do that. Oh, now all the complaints are gone from the IDE. All right. Now we spoke about external knowledge, and that is defined in our case in a text file. Yeah, I know it's very fancy, just a text file. And this text file basically has information about the house that we're gonna tell the agent to rent out. So the house is rented for $500 per week, has 3 bedrooms, we accept couples, we don't accept pets, etc., as you can see in front of your screen. Obviously, I would add more information and train the model further because usually tenants ask way more questions than this, but we're not going to do it. Before splitting text, we need to actually load the text. So we're doing loader equals text loader, and then we provide the path to chat instructions.txt. In fact, maybe at the end of this video, I will provide a more realistic chat instructions for one of the properties that I'm renting out. Anyway, LangChain community, document loaders, text loader, import text loader. Yeah, that seems correct, right? Yep. So we have a loader, and now we can load the documents. And we can now split the documents into text splits from LangChain text splitters. Import recursive character text splitter. It's just how this works. Basically, you need to always split your text before you put them into the vector store. So we got a text splitter, so actually let's execute the splitting. Split documents, and we just provide the documents here. And that allows us to add the split into the vector store. Cool. Let's do a little bit more than this. We will instantiate the prompt. This is straight from RAG tutorial on LangChain's website. It works for our purposes, and we're gonna pull an kind of open source public RAG prompt. And then we'll create the actual chat model now, and we'll use GPT for this because I'm paying for it. Okay. Init chat model is a function that comes from LangChain chat models. There you go. Cool. So actually, let's just launch this application to see that it doesn't crash. Actually, it will crash because I don't have the OpenAI API key. So let me just put it into .env first. Okay, what you didn't see me doing is I just populated environmental variables in .env with my realistic API keys from LangChain and OpenAI. Of course, I'm not going to show it in front of you because they're secretive, but we can at least test that by doing python main.py. Nothing crashes. So seems like everything is going well so far. What we'll do next is we'll build something called a graph. The graph builder equals state graph state add sequence press retrieve generate. See how it sounds insanely familiar to RAG, retrieve generate. So okay, state graph, it comes from lang graph import. I think we need start and state graph. Cool. State is it's our own definition. So in this case, I have question context, which is a list of documents. Okay. Now, I think I need to import these from I'll use it and answer as a string. I import them from typing extensions. There you go. Yep. Now I need to find it. Define document. I think it comes from LangChain actually. Lang chain core documents import document. There you go. Yep, that's the definition of our state. Now we just need to define the functions retrieve and generate. Retrieve state. What it will do is it will retrieve stuff from our vector store by similarity search. It's just one way to search to the vector store, and it will return context in the form of retrieve docs. Now let's write the generate function, and honestly I'm just doing whatever is on the LangChain's rack tutorial website. I've just adapted it slightly for my use case. So should respond size concisely based on the information below. Okay. Context, we'll just do dot and join doc page content or doc in state context. Okay, and yeah, we're just building out like a prompt to send to OpenAI. So yeah, we're just giving the LLM some context so that you know, it with what we need to respond with. Yep, question context. Now why does prop invoke expect specifically question and context? Because that's just how this public prompt RLM/rack prompt is built. And we're gonna have a response by doing LLM invoke messages, and the answer can be here, response.content. Cool. We can test this now, and we'll do it by doing graph invoke. And the question is, how much is this property renting out for? Okay. Now, what is a graph? Oh, we didn't build the graph. Wait, we only have the graph builder, but we didn't build the graph. So do this brief and graph builder compile, which generates our compiled graph. Cool. Now I'm invoking this prompt, and then I'm getting a response that I'm just going to print it out. Oops. Print response answer. So let's test it out. I'm gonna run this, and let's hear from our AI agent what sort of answer they will give us. Okay, the property is rented out for $500 per week. It even made an assumption about the currency, huh? The tenants are required to pay an 8-week deposit to secure the house. So yeah, we successfully were able to provide external knowledge to our agent, and seems like it works.